Hello students, welcome back. And as you can see in the background, I have put the beautiful Himalayas for you to see. And yes, today's lesson we are going to continue our physical features of India with the topic of Himalayas. Right? The first physical features, that is the Himalayas. Now to get you all, worked up and excited about the Himalayas, I'm going to introduce you with a very beautiful and I think one of the most beautiful videos ever made about the Himalayas. Okay, I will play it for you. Just enjoy it. It's a small 2-minute video. Enjoy it, and then we will later go into the explanation part of the Himalayas. Yeah, I think it's one of the most beautiful videos ever made about the Himalayas. So now, once you've seen this Himalayan mountain ranges, let's go deeper into the explanation part of the Himalayan ranges. Now, the Himalayan ranges are basically, divided into three categories. We have three categories of the Himalayas to help us understand better. It's there on your screen over here. The Shivalik or the outer Himalayas, which is the lowermost part of the southernmost part of the Himalayas, which we call it. And then we have the middle part or the lesser Himalayas, which is also called as the Himachal. Okay, this lies in the center part. And then the third or the northernmost part of the Himalayan ranges, which we are calling, which is called as the Himadri. So these are the three main divisions of the Himalayas. The Shivalik, that is the southernmost, the middle or the lesser Himalayas, also known as the Himachal, and then we have the northernmost ranges, that is the Himadri. These are the three parts of the Himalayas. Now you might wonder why this division of Himalayas is made into three parts. What is the significance of this? Let us look at the significance of each of these three parts, which will help us understand much more better in detail. You can see the map over here, the map of India, which is placed on your screens. It will show you where these three parts lie. The topmost part, that is numbered as 1, is the greater Himalaya, the northernmost Himalaya. Then we have 2, that is the center part, and then the 3, that is the lesser Himalayas, the Shivaliks. Right? As you can see, what is written over here, the greater Himalayas, also known as the Himadri. This is the most continuous range. It contains the loftiest peaks. Our Mount Everest lies in this particular range. The average height of the peaks is in the range of 6,000 meters, that is, we are speaking above sea level height. And the Himalayan peaks are in this particular range. The folds of the greater Himalayas are asymmetrical in nature, and the core of this part is composed of granite. So the kind of rock that we have in the greater Himalayas is mainly granite. Granite is extremely hard stone and is of volcanic in origin. Over here, because these are fold mountains, the existence of granite is there over here, and the majority of the Himalayas are made up of granite. And because of this lofty height, the peaks of the range over here are normally throughout the year you will have snow in this particular range. The lesser Himalayas, or the Himachal, that is numbered as 2 over here, this lies to the southern part of the greater Himalayas, and the altitude of the peaks over here is in the range of 3,700 to 4,500 meters. The width, or the average width of this range, is about 50 kilometers. So the width of these middle Himalayas, the lesser Himalayas, stretches for about 50 kilometers, and it is mainly compressed and consists of compressed rock and altered rocks, again because of the fold mountain origin of this range. And then the third one, that is the Shivaliks. It is outermost range of the Himalayas, lies to the southern part of the Himalayas, and the altitude varies between 900 to 1100 kilometers in this range, and the width varies between 10 to 50 kilometers. So you can see over here, comparing the 1, 2 and 3, the greater Himalayas has the highest width over here and the loftiest peaks. The lofty means the tall, okay, lofty means tall. So the tallest peaks you will find over here is in the greater Himalayas. And the longitudinal valleys that you find over here between the Himachal and the Shivalik, they are called as Dun, D-U-N, Dun. So we have Dehradun, we have Kotli Dun. These places, they lie in the valley that is between the Himachal and the Shivalik. They are popularly known as Dun and are very popular tourist destinations. Sorry. Now coming to the next part of the Himalayas, we have the significance of these Himalayas. What part or what role do the Himalayas play in India? Is it of economic significance? Is it just for show? Obviously we cannot say that, but let us read about the economic significance. What role does it play in the economy of India over here? The flora and fauna of the Himalayas varies with climate, rainfall, altitude and soil. The climate ranges from tropical at the base of the Himalayas, that is the Shivalik part of the Himalayas, you will have slight subtropical climate, and as you go further north, you find that there is a permanent ice snow at the highest elevations. This diversity of climate, altitude, rainfall and soil conditions generate a variety of distinct plant and animal communities. So you can see over here, as you travel from south to the northernmost part of the Himalayas, from subtropical you go to more extreme cold climates, and the loftiest parts of the Himalayas will be having snow throughout the year. So this is the climatic conditions that we will find in Himalayas. And next we will see the economic activities that normally happens over here in the Himalayas. See, mainly there is agricultural land which is concentrated in the Tarai plain, characterized by a very low economic growth rate because there is not much agricultural activity other than what happens in the Tarai plain, basically because the climate does not support. And the Himalayas are a major hydroelectric potential because of the perennial rivers which we have over here. We will deal with the perennial rivers more in detail as you go into the third and fourth chapter in your geography, that is drainage. So here you will learn about what the significance of these perennial rivers is, but for now you can understand that because of the perennial river meaning that the rivers flow throughout the year, they are not seasonal, they depend upon the ice which is they get from the Himalayan source. That is why they are perennial, and they are a major hydroelectric potential. They can be used for producing hydroelectric power. And then obviously it provides for 3 billion people and is a major tourist industry. Right? People love to go hiking, and that is why it is a major tourist industry. So let us recap what we have done about the Himalayas. You have seen a beautiful video of the Himalayas. You have seen the loftiest peaks of the Himalayas, the Everest peak, and then we learnt about the three different mountain ranges, or the three ranges that we have. That is the, sorry for moving the wrong one there. Yeah, coming back to that, I will show this to you again to revise. The Shivalik range, the Himachal, and the Himadris. The Shivalik, the southernmost, the middle, the Himachal, and the topmost is the Himadri. So these three plains, and we learnt about their characteristics, and we also learnt about what kind of activities happen over there, what kind of flora and fauna we have over there, and what are the economic activities that happen in the Himalayas. So we will close this part over here today, and then in the next part of my video we will learn about the northern plains, that is the second physical feature of India. Okay, so bye everyone and take care, stay safe.